The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Welcome to Albany County News. I'm Mary Rozak, the Director of Communications for Albany County. And in the next half hour or so, you're going to learn all you need to know about Albany County's newest department, and that is the Department of Recreation. Joining me to talk about that is the Commissioner, John D'Antonio. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Mary. My pleasure to be here.
The department is new. You're not new to Albany County, and you're not new to doing this kind of program because, well, before it was a department, Albany County had a recreation bureau, which you spearheaded.
Yes, we did start a bureau back, I think it was 2 years ago when we started the Albany County Recreation Bureau. But my background obviously is in recreation. I served for 14 years as commissioner under Mayor Jennings in the city of Albany. We had a very successful recreation department in the city, and had the honor to be chosen by County Executive Dan McCoy to come to the county and to start a program similar to what we did in the city, but he wanted to do it countywide.
Well, let's talk about the genesis of the program and how it came to be. I mean, when it's in its infancy, it was a recreation bureau. Yep. So how did the bureau actually start? Well,
the bureau started because, as I indicated, I was chosen by County Executive Dan McCoy to come to the county and to start a recreation program. In the process of doing that, we were able to form a partnership with the AAU, which is the Athletic Amateur Union. That is the largest athletic program in the country. And when I spoke to the county executive about that, he was very receptive to bringing the AAU into Albany County. And as part of that, the county executive reached out to Sheriff Apple and thought that by bringing law enforcement in, that we would be a great partner in bringing not only recreation but an educational component to the county as well. So we were able to start the bureau, and I gotta say, within 2 years, we were very successful, as you know.
Right. And the county executive was here last month and talked about it's pride and joy when he talks about the AAU partnership and everything that's he's been able to accomplish with you and with the department. 2,400 kids or so, right? Are we right around that number?
I think we're close to 2,500 right now.
2,500, wow. Yeah. And these are kids that were not exposed to various programs. I know since the county executives talked about it, some people may be familiar, but tell us about the various programs that you're offering through the
I will.
partnership.
Just to let you know, it's great to have an elected official here in Albany County, such as County Executive McCoy, because he truly cares about our youth. And I think the reflection of that is the success that we're having right now. And by starting this program, we were able to bring in some partners that I worked with previous in the city. And right now, currently, like I indicated, I think we're just over 2,500 kids right now. We started a flag football program for our youth. We also have a lacrosse program, a learn to skate, learn to play hockey program.
Which just wrapped, right?
It's wrapping up next week.
Okay.
Next week. And that program this year, we were able to register, I think, 385 kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I've been to that. I was there last winter for the launch of that, and it's really cool, the partnership with you have little kids that are out there, and when they put those skates on, you actually had Sienna.
We had Sienna players helping out. The age groups go from 5 to 17.
Wow. But to actually see them, I mean, it is so cute. They're with the wood like rails, and they're really learning how to balance themselves.
And part of the program, it's a two-phase program, as you indicated. We're trying to teach the younger ones how to skate, and then from that, we're trying to bring them in to learn to play hockey. Okay. So it's an advanced program, and last year we started it, and some of the kids that learned to skate last year, it was funny to see this year when they came, they were already ready to play hockey. So 1 year they were ready to...
Which is pretty incredible. And at the same time, and I know I'm interrupting, and we'll talk about the other programs, but when people think hockey and skating, they think equipment and expensive stuff. and yet the kids don't have to bear that expense.
They don't have to pay for one program here in Albany County, and that's because obviously when we started this department, the county executive and the sheriff really sat down and said, we don't want to charge kids. We want to be able to provide quality programs with quality instructors and at no cost to the parents. And you bring up a great point, Mary, because everywhere I go throughout the county, every parent that comes up to me just can't say enough about what we're doing here in Albany County, and they really want to extend appreciation to the county executive and to the sheriff and to our department for what we're doing for the kids.
And you span quite a few with the programs, quite a few towns and cities, and I know you're looking to expand even further. But before we get to that, so we've talked about there's flag football, there's the learn to skate, learn to play hockey. There's karate.
Yep, karate. Karate
That's
is a tremendous
huge.
program. Right now, currently, I think we're about 687 kids
Wow.
in the karate program.
687 kids. There have been 2 tournaments held here,
Right.
the large-scale
Yep.
tournaments.
2 district AAU tournaments last March and this previous March.
Wow.
And we had, I think last year we had 275 participants. This year we were over 300.
Wow. So I have been to a couple, just a handful of the
Right.
karate classes, and once again, range of age,
Yep.
range of ability,
Yep.
but the discipline is incredible.
That's the key focus to this program, and it starts with Tony Butler. He's been around for years, and he's really well known throughout the community. And these kids look at him as a father figure in a lot of ways. And we start the program again from 5 to 17, and it's an advanced program. You know, they start off, and then every tournament that they go to, they advance in getting a newer belt. And they work their way up to being a black belt.
Okay.
And it's great to see how these kids grow, but the key component to this program is it really talks about discipline, building their self-esteem, treating other people with respect and themselves with respect, and all of those ingredients go into it.
And it's interesting because the kids can be kids, and they can be all over, bouncing off the walls one minute, and then when they're supposed to sit, I mean, they are sitting.
There's no question. And that's the great part of Sheon Butler. He really teaches them about respect. And the parents, one of the things that I think that we've grown here with this program is that the parents talk about how their kids, when they leave the program, when they're at home, that they just really, their whole attitude has changed. And it's because of Sheon Butler teaching them that they have to have respect for their parents. It starts at home. And then when they come to their program, they obviously have to have respect for the other kids that they participate with.
Sure. And so there's also, you mentioned lacrosse.
Yep.
Some of these sports that you would ordinarily think are outside, I happen to know that I think you did lacrosse indoors in Watervliet.
In Watervliet, yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, about the dynamic, and that's another partnership, really, when you're talking about the city of Watervliet.
No question. And, our first year that we did this past fall, we had over 100, I think it was 115 kids. And that was the first time that we brought lacrosse to Albany County. Now, this year we're expanding out to 4 different locations throughout the county.
Okay.
But the popularity of lacrosse is unbelievable. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was with the city of Albany, I wanted to start a lacrosse program. And everybody told me, lacrosse is a suburban sport. You really can't bring it to the inner city. And I said to myself, no, I can't, I don't believe that. I believe that we can bring lacrosse. And we sat down, we talked about it, and we did bring lacrosse to Albany back, I think it was in 2012. And the real effect, Mayor, what I saw was that one day after we started the program, we started it in Huffman Park over in near our recreation department over in Huffman Park. I was down in the South End, and I was coming back from a meeting, and I seen 4 kids walking down on Pearl Street, and they had lacrosse sticks in their hands.
Okay.
And I said to myself, wow.
Lacrosse in the inner city, right?
Lacrosse in the inner city. And the great thing about bringing it to the county is that County Executive McCoy, when we sat down and we talked about what type of programs we could bring to the county, he said, I want to bring lacrosse to the county. He said, I know that when you started into the city and I seen the success, I want to bring it to the county. And that was one of the things that he said, let's make sure that we start with a real good lacrosse program. And we were able to get a UAlbany player, Mike Banks, who was an All-American player over at U Albany, and he does a tremendous job. And you could see when we just started this program that he brought in some volunteers from U Albany. And, you know, it's obviously your success lies in your staff. And Mike Banks and his staff has done a tremendous job. And that's why I'm really excited for this year coming up, because we're expanding out through Albany County, and I think we're going to have a lot of kids playing lacrosse here.
How do you actually do that when you talk about staff? Because I know when it comes to county and your office, it is a small office that does a lot of things.
A lot of things.
And we'll talk in a minute about how it's broadened in some of the other areas that are now under the Department of Recreation.
Right.
But do you contract out? Is it volunteer? I mean, how does this work? Who teaches? Who works with the kids?
Great question. Again, what we're able to do is we're able to contract out. And what we did, again, I'm referring back to when I was with the city, we did the same exact thing. We contracted out to some of the really well-known directors and instructors running these programs. So when I sat down with the county executive, you know, I indicated to him that in order to do this, we would have to contract out. And, you know, he indicated to me, listen, if we're going to do it, I want to do it right. I want to bring in the best instructors and directors, you know, that you can bring in to run these programs. And that's why we've been so successful, because the directors and instructors that are running these programs do a tremendous job.
I've seen the pictures and I see the smiles on the kids' faces, the smiles on everyone who's participating on their faces. It's remarkable. We are talking with the Commissioner of the Department of Recreation in Albany County, John D'Antonio. Let's talk about also, you talk about expansion. You have some ideas. You want to expand into other sports. What are we looking at here for 2017, 2018?
Well, I think the goal of this department is always to look to expand programs. And one of the things that we really are looking at right now is, and we're going to start hopefully this summer, we have plans to start with a track and field program, a baseball program, and a volleyball program.
Okay.
And it looks right now that we're going to be able to start track and field, I think, sometime at the end of June. Baseball sometime in July, and I think we're going to do volleyball probably September, October.
So will it be like a 1 month period, or how long will each session?
We're probably going to start with probably 1 or 2 locations. Okay. And it'll probably be a 6-week program.
6 weeks.
Yep.
Is that the norm?
That's the norm, 6-week program.
How much crossover do you get from season to season, sport to sport, with the kids that so far, the near 2,500 that have participated?
There's some crossover, but believe it or not, I mean, there's a lot of new kids. I mean, like for track and field, I believe we're going to see a lot of new kids that are not participating in the lacrosse or the flag football or the karate. Sure. And that's the great part about it. And that's why our numbers are so high, because we're really touching a base of kids out there that have never participated before.
Okay.
You know?
You know, if you could clarify for me, I'm definitely, you know, being on the athletic field is not, you know, one of those top things that I do every day. Track and field, tell me what that's going to encompass, because there's so many things that when you hear track and field, so many portions of it could be.
Right.
What specifically will track and field?
Well, it's a great question, and right now we're in the process of interviewing for a director to run the program. Because we have to contract out.
Yep.
So we're in the beginning process of that. So really, we don't have a fine detail yet on what exactly we're going to be doing.
So it could be a combination of things. It could be running. It
Absolutely.
Could be okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. I was sitting here thinking to myself, there's so many things. I better ask. It's not like baseball where you know.
Right. Exactly.
It's one.
But I think the goal for us is to start small and then to grow.
And you have grown. So you started, let's talk about the communities that you're in.
Yep.
So you started with some programs in Cohoes.
And Ravenna.
Yep. And now where are you?
Now we're in Green Island, we're in Watervliet, we're in Clarksville. And we're going to hopefully...
You've done things you're in Colonie.
We're in Colonie, yeah.
Yep. Because I was at karate in Colonie. What are some other targets? Are there some other target communities that, because I know communities are coming all the time and saying, hey, can we have this? Can we have that? How can we participate?
Well, I know Burn Knox is one of the areas that we're looking at. I know the county executive really wants to do something out there. We're also looking at Guilderland, some programs in Bethlehem. And it's funny because now that we've started these programs, people are reaching out to us in Guilderland and in Bethlehem and saying, you guys have some great programs.
Sure.
You're thinking about coming and, expanding those programs out to us. And I told them that's the ultimate goal of the county executive, is to go county-wide.
You can't be everywhere at the same time, right? And so these programs are running in various sites. You can't be at all of them. What is your goal? What do you try and do every week? Are you trying to hit a different sport or hit a different location, or what are you trying to do?
I think what we're really in the process of doing is we have a tremendous. I want to refer back to the AAU. We have a tremendous relationship with Sensei Joe Mirza, who's the treasurer for the AAU. And myself and the county executive have met with Sensei Mirza probably about 3 or 4 times in the last year. And we're trying to work hand in hand with the AAU. And basically, they're laying out a format of some of the programs that have been very successful in the AAU that they would like to see us expand out in Albany County. So we're really working in conjunction with them. And that's why when we sat down with Sensei Mirza, he talked about track and field, volleyball and baseball. The AAU, just to go back on that, they obviously chose us to be a partner with them. And we are the only municipality in the country to have partnered with them. So we're like a model program that they're using throughout the country right now. And it really speaks volumes for what we're doing here in Albany County. And I know that County Executive McCoy, when he talked to Sensei Mirza, said, we're going to grow this program, we're going to expand it, and we're going to make it as big as we possibly can.
Who are they normally partnering with, John, for those who aren't aware out in the audience?
Right now, they're going throughout the country, and they're using us as the model program. So right now, I know recently, I think they signed a contract in New York City. I know that they've been in California, Florida. But they're using us as the model.
And what we're doing.
And that speaks volumes. It really does.
It's incredible. And I know the state is interested too. I know I sat at a recent meeting where the county executive was talking with some state officials. So it is, congratulations on that. It's admirable. Everyone wants, when someone comes to you, they want it now.
Exactly.
Let's talk about how the rollout, what goes into the process of being able to say, all right, we've met with AAU, they think we can do these programs. What's the process for then instituting those programs and getting the equipment and getting, the schedule and interviewing the contractors? I mean, how much time does that actually take?
It does take quite a bit of time, there's no question. And it starts with obviously picking the programs and then interviewing for the directors or instructors to run those programs. And then from there, what we do, and Mary, you're a tremendous help to us, obviously, is by getting the word out. And we distribute flyers throughout all the schools in Albany County. And again, you've been a tremendous help in getting that word out. And then what we do is we do registration. And then once we start the registration process, then we start to order the equipment for that program.
Okay. So let's talk about, I said that you have a small staff. Let's talk about the members of your team.
Right.
Tell us who is a part of the Recreation Department and some of the other things that now fall under the Department of Recreation.
Right. Well, we're very small in stature, as you indicated, but everybody in our department rolls up their sleeves and really gets into it. And Kerry Kressler, who's my assistant, has done a tremendous job. She works with the national office in Florida with the AAU because the benefit of our partnership with AAU is that each kid gets an AAU card. And that is supplied through the Sheriff's Department. And through the registration process, Kerry has to work directly with the national office in Florida to make sure that each kid gets their card. So when we're talking about 2,500 kids or over, there's a lot of paperwork that's involved.
And once that participant gets his or her card, that card qualifies to go to any number of programs in any location.
Exactly. And the other benefit of having a partnership with the AAU is that they provide the liability insurance for those programs.
So if something happens during one of the sporting activities and the child is injured, it's covered.
It's covered by the AAU.
Covered by the AAU.
And then we also have a great group in Brian McCoy, who's our Lawson Lake director. and Rebecca Williams, who is his assistant. They've been a tremendous help, not only with Lawson Lake, but with helping us with the programs that we've just talked about. So again, we have a small staff, but everybody really rolls up their sleeves, gets involved, and helps out.
We're going to talk about Lawson Lake in a moment. I want to remind you that we are talking with Commissioner John D'Antonio from the Albany County Department of Recreation. So Lawson Lake, talk to me about the role that Lawson Lake plays in some of these programs. Will some of these activities, some of these AAU sports, take place up at Lawson Lake?
Well, that's a great question. We're in the process right now of looking at bringing our karate program up there.
Okay.
Not basically to run a class, but to bring the kids up so that they can have a nice time together as a group, maybe have a picnic up there, socialize a little bit with some of the other kids, because we have 4 different locations in the county. So we want to try to bring these kids together as one group. And we're thinking about doing something up at Lawson's Lake. So that's one of the areas that we're doing. Same thing with lacrosse. As we expand, we want to be able to do that as well. But Lawson Lake, really, which, you know, I've lived in Albany my whole life, and until I started working with Albany County, I really never knew about Lawson Lake.
Sure, and it was closed for a period of time, and it was under the county executive that it was reopened and refurbished, and it's calls it a jewel constantly.
I think it's a hidden jewel. I really do. And until, obviously, County Executive McCoy came into office, it was really underutilized. I mean, and then I know that when the county executive came into office, he really wanted to start some programs up there. And if you look at the transformation from when County Executive McCoy came in office to where we are now, it's unbelievable.
Well, it sounds, I bring up and ask about the AAU programs because it sounds like the perfect venue for sports summer camps. And I know that there are other summer camps that and organizations that participate with us, but it sounds like for the real sports fan, so to speak, if there were something, then maybe that's something in the future that you think about to do an all day with multiple sporting events. The hockey facility. I know we talked about the AAU and learn to skate, learn to play hockey, but now the hockey facility is also under the Department of Recreation.
Yes, it is.
Are there any plans underway for anything there?
You know, it's funny because we did sit down and we talked recently about some other type of programs that we can do in the off season. And we're talking to the skating rink manager, Paul Hebert, and we're in the process of looking at a few different things. And, you know, I think it basically, it's a beautiful facility. There's no question about it. And what we're trying to say is, okay, in the off season, what can we do? Maybe roller skating, you know, some other type of different program. So we're in the process of
looking. Is there really an all? I mean, for the normal viewer and for many of us, there is an off season. But so many times when I've called over, there are different practice times and hockey tournament, other things going on. Is there really truly a slower?
There is, but you really it's a short period. Okay. Because you have,
so to speak.
Right. You have the area high schools that use it, colleges.
Yep.
So really, the facility in itself is really booked throughout the year. We do have a short period of time, and we're trying to see what other type of programs we can incorporate into that facility.
Now, if you brought up roller skating, what would have to be done? Is that something the ice would be covered, or?
That's what we're looking at. We're trying to see how we could do that.
Okay.
But we're looking at a few different things, you know.
Okay. So talk to me about how, I mean, has this been everything that you'd hoped it would be?
No question. It really, you know, I say it every day. I'm truly blessed because when you can wake up and go into work and really touch the lives of kids throughout Albany County, and you see it on their faces. But the most important thing is the parents. And everywhere I go, I tell the kids to really thank their parents because, you know, parental involvement is very important. And in order to be successful, you have to have parental involvement. And throughout Albany County, we have seen that. I mean, when you talk about over 2,500 kids in a short period of time, I mean,
and the parents are at the classes, whether it's karate or whether it's at the skating rink. I mean, I've been there and seen it.
They're involved.
Yeah.
And that's why we're so successful. And that's why I say to these kids, thank your parents. Because they bring you here, they stay, they're involved. So I think that's why we've been so successful, because the parents have really, they've more or less what the parents that I see is that they really bought into this program.
They've embraced it.
They really have, and they care, and you see it when you get the phone calls and you get the letters coming in, and they say, "Wow, you know what? You made such a change in my kid's life, you know, and this program has done so much to build their self-esteem, and you know, I just see the confidence now."
Sure.
You know?
Well, there are the organized programs, but something we hadn't talked about yet is the rail trail, and we see so many parents and their kids out on the rail trail. Enjoying that. Any updates? Any plans? Anything you can share with us?
You know, that's another hidden jewel that, you know, again, I lived in Albany my whole life and I never knew about the rail trail. And when I first...
And paving it has certainly been a big deal that we've been able to do that.
No question. And again, under the leadership of County Executive McCoy, you've seen the difference when it comes to the rail trail in general. And one of the things that we're trying to do with recreation is we're trying to incorporate it to be more user-friendly, to have different 3K runs, you know, different events. And that's what we're looking at right now. One of the things that we are looking at, though, is incorporating some fitness stations along the rail trail.
Okay.
And
like a fitness trail.
Like a fitness trail,
okay.
Exactly. And County Executive McCoy, you know, took a look at it and he said, "How can we do this?" So we're in the process now of meeting with some people to look at a blueprint.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, and it would probably be a 3-year capital plan.
Okay.
To incorporate all of the different stations. But it's something that we're looking at, and I know the county executive really wants to bring to fruition here.
So I'm guessing that would be something that would be, you know, to the left or right of the trail. It's not something that's right on the. I've seen the fit
exactly. You've seen the trail yourself.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
All right. I can't even believe it, but we are just about out of time. If people who are watching this want to know more about how to get involved with the AAU programs, if they want to know more about rail trail activities, where would you suggest that they either go?
I would suggest they call our office,
okay.
655-7948. And Kerry obviously will address any concerns that they have, or if they want to be involved in any programs, she can lay out the whole schedule of where we are and what we're doing.
Or they can also, as always, check out the website, Albany County, www.albanycounty.com, the Department of Recreation, under government and under departments. So, see, the time just flew right by.
No question.
Well, thank you, John D'Antonio.
Thank you.
Commissioner for the Albany County Department of Recreation. I'm Mary Rozak. This has been Albany County News. We'll see you again soon.